My six-figure import business didn't get wiped out by a market crash, a bad supplier, or some faulty product. It was destroyed by a single line of text on a customs form. That one tiny mistake triggered a catastrophic audit that tore down everything I'd built and buried me in a mountain of debt. This wasn't some scheme to dodge taxes. It was a genuine, honest-to-God mistake that came from pure ignorance, and that's what makes it so terrifying. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the whole painful story and the critical lessons I learned so you can protect your own business from the same fate. 1. The dream business. Just a couple of years ago, I thought I had it all figured out. I'd built a successful e-commerce business from scratch, importing these beautiful handcrafted goods from overseas. It started as a passion project, but it blew up. Sales were climbing every month, people loved the products, and I finally felt like I'd actually made it as an entrepreneur. I was the CEO, the marketing guy, the guy packing boxes, and the import compliance manager. I did all the paperwork myself. I'd spend hours digging through harmonized system codes, those numbers that tell customs what your product is and how much tax you owe. I really thought I had a handle on it. I found codes that seemed right, the duties were manageable, and my shipments were sailing through customs. Business was booming and I felt untouchable. But that feeling was about to disappear. 2. The single, simple error, the beginning of the end, was a new product. It was a set of decorative wooden boxes, just a small variation on something I already sold. When it was time to fill out the customs declaration, I did what seemed logical. I just copied and pasted the same HS code I used for my other wooden items. It took 5 seconds. I didn't think twice. That was the mistake that cost me everything. A few weeks later, an email landed in my inbox. Random inspection. My shipment was on hold. Customs found a discrepancy. It turned out that because these new boxes had a tiny metal latch, they weren't just wooden goods anymore. They were composite goods with a different HS code and a much higher duty rate. Now, one flagged shipment is a pain, but it's not a disaster. The disaster came next. That one little misclassification gave customs a reason to start digging. They didn't just look at that one shipment. They launched a full post-clearance audit into my entire import history for the last 5 years. 3. The fallout that audit was a slow, soul-crushing nightmare. For months, I was buried in paperwork, sending them every invoice, every bill of lading, every document I had. And the more they looked, the more they found. It turned out I'd made similar small misclassifications on a few other products. Nothing major, but each one was a strike against me. When the final bill came, my world just fell apart. The back duties plus penalties for negligence were staggering. Penalties for classification errors can be severe, sometimes multiples of the actual duties you owe. It was a number I couldn't possibly pay. It wiped out my business account, then my personal savings. The business I poured my entire life into was gone. Just like that. All because I didn't understand the tiny details on a form. It was an incredibly stressful and lonely experience. If you've ever had a business challenge that just completely overwhelmed you, share it in the comments. We all get better by helping each other out. And if you're finding this story valuable, do me a favor and hit the like button. It makes a huge difference. 4. The hard-learned lessons. Losing everything was a brutal way to learn, but it taught me 3 things that are now burned into my memory. Lesson 1. You are not a customs expert. My biggest mistake was thinking I could handle this myself. An HS code isn't a suggestion, it's a legal declaration. Getting it close enough is a recipe for disaster. The difference between the two codes can be the difference between paying 0% duty and 25%. Always use a licensed customs broker. For total peace of mind, apply for a binding ruling from customs. It's an official decision on your product's classification, and it's basically an insurance policy against this exact scenario. Lesson 2, your paperwork is your only defense. When you're facing an audit, your records are the only thing that can save you. Your commercial invoice, packing list, and certificate of origin, every single document has to be perfect and consistent. There's a reason customs requires you to keep records for 5 years. If my records hadn't been spotless, the penalties could have been much worse, escalating into gross negligence or even fraud. Lesson 3. The importer is 100% liable. You can have a great supplier and the world's best freight forwarder, but when it comes down to it, U.S. Customs holds one person responsible: you, the importer of record. You are legally on the hook for making sure the value, classification, and country of origin are all correct. Never just blindly trust the HS code your supplier gives you. You have to verify everything. It's been a long, hard road climbing back from that failure. But I'm not telling you this story to scare you. I'm telling you so you can be prepared. There's so much opportunity in international trade, but the risks are real and they're usually hidden in the fine print. I had a thriving business destroyed by one detail I thought was insignificant. Don't let that happen to you. Do your homework, pay for expertise, and never underestimate the power of a few numbers on a form. Your entire business could depend on it.